Oregon Files podcast. First, our disclaimer. We are amateur podcasters simply for entertainment and maybe a little history. If we misquote or offend, it was not on purpose to do so. Now, today we're recording from the Roseburg Public Library.
Yeah.
Been very kind to letting us record from one of their nice office rooms. You may hear some books being flipped through or shuffled or put back on shelves or things like that. But
People taking notes.
And here's my co-host, Elliot Bowman.
Thank you so much, Mark. Another fantastic intro. Everyone is having a good start to, and it's not officially summer yet, but it's summer break for students and the teachers, and hope everyone's having a good start to their June. And happy almost Father's Day to the papas out there. I like to give a quick shout out to our good friends at Touche Brewery, located here in Roseburg. They're also located in Reedsport and newly owned and operated in the Bandon Brew Company. I will be there next month to check them out myself, but if you want to get a hold of them, you can give them a call at 541-236-2055.
And our other sponsor, Video Games Plus and Level Up Frozen Yogurt, open 7 days a week off Stevens in Roseburg, Oregon. Level Up Frozen Yogurt has new flavors every month, some are dairy-free, and over 50 toppings, including fresh fruit. And they also have a very impressive new video game section and a big collection of DVDs, Blu-rays, disc golf, Magic cards, Pokemon cards, Japanese candies, board games, t-shirts. Oh man, they got a little bit of everything in there. So, and great gift certificates. So our good friends at VGP, Video Games Plus, and Level Up Frozen Yogurt.
And congrats on all the graduates across the United States, Oregon. My daughter recently graduated from high school. Congratulates. Woo! Thoughts, though, I was thinking about this morning. What are your thoughts on people having like a graduation ceremony for kids graduating like elementary school or even middle school?
If that's the highest the expectation's going to be, it's the wrong example for the kid.
It's like the participation trophy,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
Because I remember when I done with the elementary school, it was like hop on the bus and you start your summer.
Oh yeah. That's the graduation party of summer, not
wasn't any ceremony. Party. But yeah, nowadays they got
preschool, kindergarten, elementary school,
graduating, and everything.
Yeah, party time.
All right. Yeah, we had a nice big party last weekend. It was fun. Like I was thinking the graduation ceremony was going to be like 4 hours. I don't know why I feel like that's what I heard. I don't know who spread that rumor, but it was only like an hour.
Oh, okay. That's not bad at all.
It wasn't bad at all.
That's not bad at all.
The fun part was like getting there like at 8:15 and like saving seats.
Oh, yeah.
And like people rushing in there like they were getting to like Disneyland.
Oh, yeah.
And they would like tape down blankets and like it was getting serious.
Oh, yeah. Night breaks out.
Like just watching these kids graduate, and people were like, like wrestling over, like trying to get to like the perfect seats for them. Like, I don't know, it's the most entertaining part about the whole thing,
right? Yeah. So today's episode
37.
That's what I think. Episode 37. We are now, and this is going to be
37
crazy Oregon stories. Just a potpourri of random stuff again.
And you know what? I think it's actually also 2 years.
Oh, is it 2 years? This is our 2-year anniversary?
That's right around here.
Holy mackerel. Gosh, what's the gift for 2 years? What's the anniversary gift on 2 years?
Library books.
There you go. That's the way.
Mark and I are also working on getting some interviews, some more folks to come sit down and chat with us. We have some things lined up, so you don't have to listen to me and Mark just ramble on and go on about random stuff.
Yes, and read you stuff from the books in the library, which we do have a bad book review today, by the way. I hate to do it. It's going to be a book from the library. You can enjoy the pain that I took in, but we'll cover that here shortly.
I think people enjoy those, though.
I'm going to tear into this book. I'm so upset. I had to read it. Yes, strange but true is I think was the
strange but true.
Strange but true.
Yes, and little urban legends. I found some urban legends across the globe and a couple in Oregon too. I found so
perfect. We'll start with the first one here. El, do you know that the biggest living organism is in the state of Oregon?
No.
So next time you purchase white button mushrooms at the grocery store, just remember they may be cute and bite-sized, but they have a relative that occupies 2,384 acres of soil in Oregon's Blue Mountains. It's one big organism. Put another way, this humongous fungus would encompass It's in the article. Humongous fungus is amazing. It would encompass 1,665 football fields.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's nearly 4 square miles or 10 square kilometers of turf. So it was discovered in 1998. Before this, the biggest living organism was thought to be the blue whale.
Really?
Yes.
Is it like heavily guarded?
No, that's the best part. And yeah, and people can go to it and you can pull pieces off of it and eat it.
Really?
Yeah. Ann Castleman wrote this article for us on October 4th, 2007 from Scientific American.
So it's like it's just a giant mushroom?
It's just a giant mushroom. And so the way this mushroom really works, so it kind of spreads on the floor of the forest, that kind of stuff.
Oh my gosh, it's like The Last of Us.
It is. Exactly. It just keeps spreading and spreading. And that's why they know it's the same one, is they took samples from both sides and it matched DNA samples.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Now, the fungus is estimated to be 2,400 years old.
2,400 years old?
That's the lean estimate. It could be as old as 8,650 years.
Is it still growing?
It's still growing. It's still out there.
It's still out there.
It's still out there.
I wonder, like, what the daily tourist visit of this giant fungus.
Apparently, it's really hard to get to. That's the thing.
Really?
It's like really in dense area.
Which is probably why it's grown so large, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's exactly. It's been unheated for thousands of years. So, yeah, it just keeps growing. But yeah, it's just a big white button.
I wonder if
mushroom.
it tastes good. I don't like you like mushrooms? I'm not a mushroom
Look,
fan.
if it sneaks up on a pizza,
If it sneaks-
I'm not going to kick it out. But if it's overly done, I will and I don't like the
Yeah.
big chunks of mushrooms. No. We need this thing thinly sliced.
Yeah.
It's allowed to be in the back of the room, but
Yeah.
I don't. It's never taken. The
Yeah.
forefront.
If it sneaks on a pizza, it's not too bad.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't openly search for mushrooms.
Yeah. Me neither. I'm not a huge fan. I've like warmed up to olives. I know it's not a mushroom family, but it's along the same lines of putting things on
It's
pizza.
funny you say that. Same thing. I can do mushrooms, maybe on a Subway sandwich, maybe on a pizza. But yeah, I'm not gonna. Do you snack on olives?
No,
See,
I can't do that either. I can't eat it out of the jar.
Yeah, me neither.
I can't do that. I know it's like a Thanksgiving thing, like people eat olives.
Yes, my family. I'm the only one who doesn't.
Not an olive fan.
Not an olive fan either.
Olive don't like them.
I love how this segued into the food pretty quick. The first thing I thought was pretty interesting. So yeah, biggest living organism, it's an organ. You can come poke it with a stick. Now, this is another thing, and I can't believe we haven't covered this before. This is a pretty good one. We have a holiday called the Exploding Whale Day. And it's each November 12th. We commemorate the 1970 incident on the coastal town of Florence, Oregon, where a large deceased beached whale was stuck on the shore.
Aw.
Not sure what else to do. The whale was filled with explosives and blown up. Are you ready for this? Okay,
I just love the phrase "not sure what else to do." So let's stuff it full of dynamite.
You know that somebody owned the dynamite. Like, oh, this has been my time to shine. Like, I know what to do here. This comes from OregonEncyclopedia.org, and this article is by Luke Carlson. On November 9th, 1970, a 45-foot, 8-ton sperm whale washed ashore near Florence on Oregon's south coast. In addition to the stench and the possibility that the body would burst, local officials were concerned that people curious about the carcass might climb on it and fall in.
Oh my god!
This is why it was the emergency to get rid of it right away.
Who's climbing on a dead whale?
Oh, I'm sorry. Look, I've met people from Oregon. They will climb anything. You could put danger ropes around it and they're just going to ignore it. Okay. That's just, a dead carcass nowadays in the street still gets on. You know what I mean?
Climb on a possum.
Climb on a possum, looky here, get selfies with it. So the agency responsible for Oregon beaches, the Oregon State Highway Division, now ODOT, was called in to remove the whale.
Wait, they're in charge of the beaches?
Yeah, ODOT is. After consulting with the U.S. Navy and munitions experts, Assistant District Highway Engineer George Thornton decided, you know what? We're going to blow it up like it's a boulder.
George is waiting for that.
This is
his day to shine.
Probably 20 years in public service. This was the highlight.
I got to imagine that guy showed up with like a giant cigar.
Oh, big sunglasses.
Right. Oh, man.
Nice cowboy hat,
Absolutely.
Stetson. Oh, he was ready.
Man, he was ready to go.
He loves the smell of whale in the morning.
Right. He loves the smell.
A crowd of spectators and local reporters gathered on the beach on November 12th, about a quarter of a mile from the carcass. The engineers expected the whale to explode into small pieces, which seagulls and other scavengers would take care of. I love the expectation.
Right.
Yeah, we'll just blow it up. Birds will take care of it. Okay,
The
so
birds are like, I don't want that.
the beach erupted in a 100-foot high column of sand and whale.
Oh my gosh.
Larry
100
Bacon,
foot?
100
That's what
foot,
they made out of it?
100 foot. So
Larry Bacon.
100-foot things go up. Larry Bacon reported in the Register Guard, chunks of the animal flew in every direction.
Oh my god.
Spectators began to scream and run for cover when they glimpsed large pieces of soaring directly overhead. A sedan parked near the onlookers was crushed by a large chunk of blubber.
They didn't warn people?
They were already half a mile away. They thought this was going to be just fine. A quarter mile away, they're like, yeah, we're fine. No one was harmed in the explosion or the falling debris. Chunks of whale had to be collected and buried. This is my favorite part. KETU television news reporter Paul Lineman provided the memorable account that included this description. The blast blasted blubber beyond all believable bounds. Paul, yeah, that's amazing. That's a great
Fantastic.
quote. The story of the exploding whale was given new life in 1990 when humorist Dave Barry wrote about it. That became a big, wide circulated newspaper thing. He called it Moby Yuck.
Moby Yuck.
Because
Oh
his
my gosh.
NPR said it was the first story to go viral on the internet. just because
Oh
of timing.
man.
Now, here's the best part was, going forward, the tale of the exploring whale became a cautionary one. In 1979, with 41 sperm whales beached themselves and died in a beach south of Florence, they decided just to bury them. So the policy now is they just bury whales. They don't blow them up anymore.
My gosh.
Isn't that wild? So, yeah, I love it. And there's bars around that do exploding whale drinks. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I would have. This is one of those places, moments in history I wouldn't have mind being at, just for the
Oh, right.
panic and chaos.
Right. Just
know?
imagine it's like Godzilla. You know, everyone's just
Oh.
like screaming in terror everywhere, but it's just like blubber falling from
You
the
just-
sky.
yeah, stinky whale.
It
blubber.
must have been awful.
Oh yeah.
It must have been so awful.
Except for the best part was, I love that there were probably some seagulls. Like, this was Christmas. Like, you could
Right.
not have like predicted.
Right.
this
The
to happen.
vultures and the
Oh.
crows. Right. There's like salivating, waiting, like, do it.
Do it. Yeah. He's gonna blow it up. You can see the seagulls. Like, I think he's putting dynamite in that whale.
Right. My God, those humans are actually doing that.
Go get the seagulls and Coos Bay and Band and let them know what's going on.
Right.
They're gonna love this.
Hey, Roger.
You're not gonna believe what they're doing
You're
in
not
Florence.
gonna
Yeah.
believe what's happening.
Well, the guy from ODOT got his dynamite in
Like,
that whale.
do
Yeah.
you think they regretted doing it afterwards? I mean, they must have. They decided the procedure going forward was just burying the whales.
I wonder if they just used too much dynamite.
Yeah, it sounds like they dropped like an atom bomb in there.
No kidding. I live 100 feet. I don't know. I think, yeah, I got no comment.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. It's not a stuff of legend.
It's a stuff of legend.
Did you know that Portland was named by a coin flip?
No, I did not know that.
In 1845, when Francis Pettygrove of Portland, Maine, and Asia Lovejoy of Boston, Mass, could not figure out what to name their newly settled land, they left it up to the flip of a coin. After the best of three, Pettygrove of Portland, Maine was victorious. Visitors can see the copper coin that named the city at the Oregon Historical Society.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what was it going to be if it was in Portland?
I don't know. I don't know what, Asia Lovejoy of Boston, Mass. So it could have been named Boston. It could have been named Lovejoy, which is funny because there's Lovejoy Street
And
in The Simpsons.
Reverend Lovejoy.
Yes, Reverend Lovejoy.
Portland just fits that.
Portland just fits.
You know, if it was in Portland, yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't make sense.
Right, yeah.
I thought because it's near water, it's ports.
You would,
You know what I
right?
mean, that's kind of what I thought it was.
I thought it was too. That would make the most sense. But I love that. And I love that they just would not. I love the old timey thing. If they didn't name the city names after themselves, like Edtown or something like that,
Right.
they named it off another city they knew of already. Like there was no originality to the name of the city sometimes.
And the thought of naming something by using a coin and coin flipping it is kind of it's interesting,
Chances of fate.
you know.
So random. Could have been called Coin Town.
It could have been called coin flip.
All right.
Fate Town. You know, next big decision I have
Yeah.
to make, I'm flipping a coin.
You got to flip a coin.
And I feel like I'm going to use this. I think I'm going to use the same coin over and over again.
I use D&D dice.
You can move on to the next topic.
This next one ties into our very popular topic of ghost towns.
Yes.
Oregon, okay?
Yeah.
Do you know who John
popular.
Baptiste Charbonneau is?
Yes, he was my second cousin's uncle.
You know, you could
I'm
be
lying.
right.
No,
I
I'm
don't
just
know.
lying.
I
No, I
know.
don't know who that is. I feel like John Baptiste shows up everywhere in history, though.
There's always a John
There's always a
Baptiste,
John
right?
Baptiste.
So John Baptiste Charbonneau, and I know I'm not pronouncing it right, by the way.
Charbonneau?
Charbonneau? Yeah, probably Charbonneau. He was a Native American French-Canadian explorer, guide, fur trapper, trader, military scout during the Mexican-American War. He was the mayor of San Luis Rey de Francia and a gold digger and a hotel operator.
Renaissance man.
And guess who his mother was?
Oh, gosh. I wasn't ready for the follow-up.
Oh, yeah.
His mother was Queen Elizabeth.
No, close. Sacagawea.
Really?
So here's this crazy part. Sacagawea gave birth to little Jean-Baptiste. French-Canadian explorer and trader named Toussaint Charbonneau was the father. And so he was born at Fort Mandan, North Dakota. In his early childhood, he accompanied his parents as they traveled across the country. The expedition co-leader William Clark of Lewis and Clark nicknamed the boy Pompey, or Pomp, Little Pomp. Then after the death of Sacagawea, the son went and lived with Clark in St. Louis, Missouri, where he attended St. Louis Academy. Now, the crazy part was Clark then paid for his education. Now, here's the crazy. Jean-Baptiste and Sacagawea appeared on the United States Sacagawea dollar coin. So remember the coin where she's got the baby that's him. As a baby, he's on the official coin. This is all from our good friends at Wikipedia.
Does it say what year he was born?
Yes. Somewhere in the winter between 1804 and 1805. And then he travels over. So get this, he zigzags back and forth across the country with his parents. His dad was a very big explorer, so that was what was going to happen. So
he's road tripped everywhere.
Everywhere, right? So Toussaint Charbonneau and Sacagawea departed for the Mandan villages in April 1809. So he's about 4 or 5 years old and left the boy to live with Clark. In November 1809, the parents returned to St. Louis to try farming, but left again in April 1811. Jean-Baptiste continued to reside with Clark the whole time. So as a little boy, he started living with Clark.
That's interesting. Well, I wonder why he didn't. Why
he didn't stay with his mom?
Yeah.
I probably for a better education chances because Clark offered to pay for everything.
Right.
So
also maybe because of the expansion of the West.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe he was safer.
Yeah. When he was 18, Jean-Baptiste met Duke Frederick Paul Wilhelm of Württemberg. I've never heard of Württemberg before, but it's enough to have its name on there. He was the nephew king of Frederick Wilhelm Karl of Württemberg. So basically, this high up guy from Europe. They became good friends. They met of all places in Kansas City, Kansas. Wilhelm was traveling in America on a natural history expedition to the Northern Plains with Jean-Baptiste's father as his guide. On October 9th, 1823, he invited the young Jean-Baptiste to return to Europe with him, which was agreed upon. The two set sail from St. Louis in December 1823. Jean-Baptiste lived at the Duke's Palace in Württemberg for 6 years, where he learned German and Spanish and improved his English and French. So he spoke 4 languages. The crazy part is he comes back to America and he tries a little bit of everything. Okay. He's a fur trader. He's a gold miner. He owns a hotel. He becomes a mayor of a city. He's a trapper. He's a hunter. He gets involved in the Mexican-American War. Okay. Now we're going to cut down to why this ties into an Oregon ghost town is his death. It's not clear exactly why Charbonneau left California, where he's actually kind of successful with the hotel. He had some property in Auburn, California, and he left that they think he was trying to get back to a rich gold mine in Virginia City, Montana, because it produced $31 million in gold by late 1865. His route travel, stagecoach over Donner Summit and east along the well-traveled Humboldt River, trail to Winnemucca, Nevada, to the Oregon border. Passing the camp in rugged terrain, the traveling group he was with were crossing present-day Rome, Oregon, the Owyhee River, when an apparently accident occurred and Charbonneau, so Jean-Baptiste, went into the river. The accident's cause is unknown, but there are several possibilities. And he got pneumonia from that and died. He was taken ill. He was taken to Inskip Station in Danner, Oregon. Danner, Oregon. Built in 1865, about 33 miles from the river and west of Jordan Valley, it is now a ghost town. The former stagecoach, mail stop, and general store served travelers to Oregon and California goldfields, and he is buried there. He died at age 61 on May 16th in 1866.
Wow.
Right? And the final cause of death was pneumonia, is what they said on the death certificate. His gravesite is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. It's on an acre of land, now contained within the Ruby Ranch. The site donated by Malheur County by the owners. Crazy story, yeah. So Sacagawea's son
That is
dies
wild.
in an Oregon ghost town.
Man, you never really think about Lewis. You know, you have the whole Lewis and Clark,
Yeah.
which is a well-known story. Sacagawea, a well-known story, but I've never really gave much thought on the baby that
Yeah.
Sacagawea is carrying with her during the expedition and the life that he has afterwards.
And the fact that he lived is crazy. I mean, that was a lot of traveling. Those kids didn't, but I guess the kid traveled really well. He did end up having 2 kids. One died when it was an infant, and the other one they just lost track of due to history. So
Interesting.
right.
That's
Yeah.
a pretty wild story. And he ends up being buried at
in an Oregon ghost town, just because that's near the river he fell in, you know?
Yeah.
So, all right, next quick story. This is a short one. This is because right now we have the NBA finals going on, right? Hoping the Denver Nuggets beat Miami Heat
Yeah.
3-1.
Almost closing it out.
So this is an unbreakable record. This is from Oregon. This is North Douglas High School in Drain, holds a national basketball record that will never be broken. The school holds the distinction of winning the lowest scoring game in history.
Oh, no.
Then known as Drain High School, it defeated Wilbur High School 1-0
Oh,
in
my
1927.
gosh. Could you imagine watching that game?
A single free throw was the only basket made during the game.
That must have been dreadful.
Now, 2 Illinois teams matched the feat in 1929-30, but no other teams have duplicated the unbreakable record since.
1-0.
1-0.
I mean, do you even cheer after that game?
It was either the best defensive game ever. Like,
Right.
I started thinking from the opposite angle, like,
Right.
oh man, like I would have been cheering every time they
There's
blocked
like a
the ball.
7-footer just guarding the rim, just blocking everything.
2 giants, 2 Bigfoots going at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Mike, it's like a soccer score.
Yes.
Baseball.
1-0. The final score. Unbeatable record.
Yeah, I would probably say it's unbeatable.
It's amazing.
Somebody had to win. I
Somebody-
mean, did it go to overtime?
So many questions. All right, here's the last story I want to cover. This is a really good one too. So John Baptiste Chabanal was sent to me by my brother. Really appreciate that one. And this one was sent to me by my sister.
Okay.
And which is awesome. Fans of the podcast send stuff over, right?
The Layton family.
Oh, so this is Who Owns Buried Treasure. So you know the law finders keepers.
Sure.
That is
Losers, weepers.
yes. Finders keepers is legal thing determined by an Oregon case of lost gold. So brothers Waldo and Chalmers, which once again, those are names you're not going to find
Fantastic
today.
names.
Waldo
Yeah.
and Chalmers.
Where's
CHAL.
Waldo?
Yes.
Yeah, I think since the Where's Waldo books have come out, nobody's naming their
No one's
kids
going to
Waldo.
Yeah, it just
They
can't.
kinda just-
It's not going to work.
It just kind of ruined that.
Yeah, that's.
You're just
whatever
going to
happened
get
to
picked on so much.
Yeah, and if
You know, where's Waldo? And then you can't dress him in red and white shirts.
Yeah, no stocking caps. No,
right,
yeah,
it's in the
right.
hat.
Man,
Yeah,
yeah,
you can't
Waldo's.
be. You
maybe
can't be
Euro
in pictures.
Yeah, they'd always.
I've never met a Waldo. Have you met a Waldo?
I've never met a Waldo. No, I never had to look for him either. So.
Stop.
In spring of 1894, in the Rogue Valley of southwestern Oregon, the brothers found a tin can full of gold coins while cleaning out a neighbor's chicken coop.
Why doesn't that happen anymore?
I don't clean out chicken coops. Once again, though, is this my fault? I'm not doing the dirty work.
I guess so. That's a good place to hide gold coins, though, because the foxes aren't looking for gold coins.
Exactly. So leads the question is, what were the gold coins doing in the chicken coop? So the crazy.
Accumulating interest.
So the 2 boys found this. They were pretty young at the time that they found this. I think they were only the ages were like 10 and 12 or something like that. And they thought about what to do because the people that hired them to clean it out, they tell them like, hey, we found these gold coins,
Yeah.
on your property. They take it to their dad, that kind of stuff. They weren't sure what to do. So they took it to the owner of the house and said, hey, look what we found. And they're like, oh yeah, hey, we lost that. That was ours.
Yeah.
So they gave each one of the kids $1.50 as a thank you for finding it. The kids estimated that it was at least $7,000 in that can, which today would be about $205,000. Okay. So the boys did they went to the newspaper and the police saying, hey, I'm pretty sure we got robbed. Right. But so the cool part was the cops documented what they said happened to a T, right? Now, the hard part is, a couple things. There's concealed stashes, like the one found in the chicken coop, were not unusual in the late 19th century. Banks frequently failed during financial crisis, so people would always bury their money a lot. They didn't trust the banks.
Right.
Okay? Now, for years, Waldo and Chalmers sued over the loss, and one day decided when they were old enough, so 9 years later, 1903, Waldo and Chalmers, now 19 and 17, at which their accusations would carry credibility, got 2 lawyers involved.
Oh, they really just won't let this go, huh?
They won't let this go. And with rightfully so, because the funny part was the family that took the money, they all went to the same church, and they were starting to dress nicer and have nicer things and tell the kids to keep it a secret. They kept telling they kept telling the kids to keep it a secret.
So
That's
it wasn't really the people's gold coins in the chicken coop?
That's what bothered the boys, because they knew the way the reactions. It wasn't the way that the mother and husband, the wife and husband who owned the property at the time they found the gold coins. The way they reacted, they knew it wasn't their money.
So how did it get in a chicken coop?
Well, here's the best part: is these people brought the property not long before they were helping to dig it up, because these people brought the property and they hired these kids to help clean up the chicken coop. So there's no way they could have buried it.
There before.
It was there way before. So get this. Now, the first case that it actually goes to is they side with the people who got the gold can, who ended up with it because they said it was their property, right? It's found on their property. Well, the kids didn't press it. They didn't like the answer. So they went to the Supreme Court of Oregon, where Judge Bean actually drew on several English laws dating back to 1722, in which 2 parties, a chimney sweep's son and a goldsmith, claimed possession of a jewel that the boy had found in the road and taken it to the goldsmith for identification. Because the boy had been the finder, the court found he had the priority and the right of possession over anyone else except the original owner of the lost jewel, whose identity was unknown. What Judge Bean decided for these boys was that can, which they described it, because remember that police report that they did when they were younger, to a T, stuck to that. The can was too old for it to be put on the property by those owners at that time. So they actually won the court case with the Supreme Court in the state of Oregon under the finders keepers rule.
So did they get their what did they get rewarded?
They ended up getting not very much. There's accusations that they spent so much of it that they lied how much was in it. Oh, there's only like $1,000 in there, and that, the story kind of changed. The settlement was for $6,000 plus interest.
Maybe it wasn't maybe it was like the principle of the thing.
Yeah,
it was just bugging them through all these years.
Yeah, so they ended up getting $6,000. So it's pretty good. So they ended up splitting that there. Now this is the hard part. What happens afterwards? So not much that knows what happened to the Robertses and O'Neill after that. They were the ones who took the money first. And biographical details fade into history. The fate of the Danielsons is, after dividing the proceeds of the settlement, Waldo and Thomas, by this time were 21 and 19, went their separate ways. Waldo married and used his share to buy a part ownership stake in a foundry in Medford, Oregon. On November 23rd, 1905, when he was just 22, he was sitting on a wheelbarrow by the front door of the foundry after finishing his day's work when a pile of bricks rained down on him, knocking him unconscious. He never recovered and died 2 days later.
So he was murdered.
Look, I didn't ask where the bricks come from. Chalmers' share is unknown. He remained in Medford area until 1914 and eventually moved to Sacramento, California, where he worked as a mechanic. He doesn't appear to have ever married, and he struggled to find employment during the Great Depression. In 1960s, Sacramento City directories listed Chalmers as retired and living alone in an apartment.
Jeez.
He died there on May 15th, 1970 at the age of 84.
Wow.
Wild, huh?
He probably told everyone he met along the way about the
right?
The gold case finding in a chicken coop.
Now,
me and my brother could have been millionaires.
Could have been millionaires. Could have done, just crazy life stories. The last little bit of this is the Danielson brothers' claim to possession of buried treasure was also echoed in a 2013 case when a couple walking their dog found $10 million in gold coins.
$10 million?
Yes. It was buried in a property in Northern California. It was impossible to know who originally buried the money. The coins all dated from the 19th century, so possession of the treasure went to the couple. But here's the catch now. Here's my favorite part about the Finders Keepers law. You got to pay taxes. And this is why I love the government's like, we'll let the finders have it, but we get our taste.
Right.
Guess how much income tax it is when you find lost treasure?
Like 20%?
47%.
Oh my gosh. It's not even worth it.
Half of it's going to go to the United States is like, it's the land of the free, but if you find it in our country,
right,
we want 47%.
Right.
Yeah, so those are my random tales.
My gosh.
All over the place.
There's a lot.
We talked about
a lot to sink in.
We talked about Ghost Town, yeah. Basketball scores.
Basketball.
Mushrooms.
Sacagawea. So my contribution for today is, so the Oregon Files podcast We are located here in Douglas County. Beautiful Oregon.
Beautiful.
Beautiful Roseburg, Douglas County. But we also have listeners outside this area. We have listeners all across the United States, global, all that, right? We're a global brand. We recognize that. So the best way to reach those folks is to talk about urban legends from across the globe.
Yes.
The first one is the Yeti, which is like the version of Bigfoot, right?
I love the Yeti.
So Sherpas, they're a Nepalese ethnic group, not just like an occupation or a verb, but many people believe that the word actually translates to people from the East. They're best known, they're just superhuman climbers. They help others ascend like Mount Everest. I mean, if you ever watch like documentaries or like people climbing like Mount Everest and stuff like that, it's always, there's always like a Sherpa, you know, somebody that
Sherpas.
helps,
They know what they're doing.
Right, helps them ascend Mount Everest. But they also have a very rich culture and history, which includes the legend of the Yeti. According to the BBC, there are more than a few stories about the Yetis. Of course, it's like Bigfoot. We have tons of stories. What they are exactly, but it's generally accepted. The description of a Yeti is an enormous, shaggy ape-man with huge feet and aggressive saber-like teeth.
Wow.
Sounds familiar-ish, right?
Yeah.
It's said to reach about 6 feet tall and produce footprints that are about 13 inches long. Right? One story says that a village of Sherpas, they were being tormented by a group of Yetis, which is interesting because we were talking about the Bigfoot last episode. The Bigfoot didn't sound like it was aggressive at all, right? Yeah. Even being shot by young hunters.
Once again, those could be territorial.
That's true. That's true. So they decided to trick the Yetis into getting drunk and fighting each other.
Amazing.
This is it. The surviving Yetis declared revenge and moved up higher into the mountains, periodically coming down to terrorize the Sherpas. Over the years, explorers have flocked to the Himalayas to try to find evidence of the beasts. In 1921, a journalist named Henry Newman interviewed locals who told him about the existence of a meadow kangmi, which translates into man-bear snowman. According to Live Science, Newman translated the meta part to mean filthy, and he chose to use the word abominable instead. Thus, the abominable snowman was
I was going to ask.
I love that the revenge on the Yeti is like, let's just get him hammered. And then that way they have no ambition, and they're just going to fight each other. But the Yeti's like, no. You mess with us, we mess with you tenfold, and boom.
That's amazing.
You start a war with the Yetis.
So
you mess with the bull, you get the Yetis.
Oh, boy. This is wild.
Interesting.
How many eyewitnesses were there for the drunken Yeti bowl?
Right? Yeah. I found this info on insider.com. They got the insider. The next urban legend tale I found was in a town called Kudalahar. This is in India. This actually dates back to the 13th century, but no one has lived there since 1825.
Whoa.
All the residents seemingly vanished into thin air. According to local lore, about 1,000 villagers completely abandoned their home overnight without a trace. No one has any idea why, where they went. No one saw them leave.
Whoa.
There's a lot of theories saying that there was poison wells. Their wells got poisoned to a greedy ruler that was like levering high taxes to a dwindling water supply. But none of those explain why the inhabitants left so suddenly. You might be wondering, why don't people settle back down into that town?
Yeah.
There's a legend that a village chief actually cursed the land. Apparently, anyone who tries to live there will die. The Indian Paranormal Society actually spent the night there and reported disembodied whispers, screams, noises are common at dark hours. Many of the members have witnessed apparitions, heard footsteps, experienced unusual touch, and so on. This is according to the Gulf News.
Wild. It's like a portal. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay.
And it's like, up and leave it. 1,000 people. 1,000. Somebody had to start that conversation and decision. Like, this is what we're going to do. We're leaving. I mean, you think there's probably that one guy that was like, I don't really want to do this. I want to stay behind. And
you'd think, but the fact that all 1,000 are like, nope, something bad enough happened.
Right.
Like,
I mean, they had to have been pretty
agreement. Yeah.
Right. Dang. This now takes us to Sydney, Australia. The famous Harbour Bridge in Sydney, Australia. It was completed in 1928. Officially, though, what happened during construction, 16 people died during construction. However, legends say that there should be 3 more men added to the death toll. According to the stories, 3 men died during construction after they fell into the brick pylons of the bridge.
Whoa.
However, since they were migrant workers and because labor laws didn't seem all that stringent at that time, their disappearance wasn't noticed for weeks. Apparently, retrieving the bodies would have been too difficult, so they were entombed there for eternity. That's creepy.
That's creepy.
This one was kind of interesting. They're all kind of interesting. This one's called the Ghost Bus. A lot of urban legends begin, of course, on a dark and stormy night, right?
Yeah.
While there are a few variations of the story, like the route it was taken, kind of how the story goes. This is the one I came across. The bus was traveling late at night, around midnight, and it was the last one of the evening. It was the last bus, the last stop, right?
Okay.
2 men flagged down the bus, and even though the driver he was kind of reluctant to pick them up since they weren't at a stop. They were just like flag the bus down, right? He lets them on anyway, right? Fine. So far, it's all good, right? But it turns out there was actually 3 men. The 2 were holding up another one who appears to be in rough shape, drunk or, I don't know, rough shape.
Okay.
Turns out all 3 of them are extraordinarily pale, and they're wearing garb from the Qi dynasty, which lasted from 1644 to 1911.
What?
The bus driver apparently explains it by claiming that the 3 are actors who didn't have time to change after work.
What?
As the bus empties out, it gets down to a young man and an elderly person, which has been both man or woman, depending on the story, I guess. Out of nowhere, the older person picks a fight with the young man, claiming that he stole his wallet and forced Wall to get him off at the next stop to go to the police. Upon getting off, they tell the young man that the fight was a ruse to help them get off the bus. They were just like trying to get out of here. Apparently, the 3 men on the bus hadn't been touching the ground. This is what the bus driver says.
Whoa.
Some versions claim that the men didn't have legs at all. The 2 go to the police to report the alleged spirits, but get ridiculed. However, the next morning, they find out the bus never completed its route. Some versions state that the bus was actually never found, while others claim the bus was found later with 3 severely decomposed bodies inside.
What? Whoa.
So, that's interesting.
That's wild. What a twist.
Right?
So twisty.
We've all heard of Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
You know, when you were younger, everyone did this stupid trick. You're in them, you close out the, turn the lights off, you do the whole Bloody Mary, and you wait for
I
it.
thought it was a drink. Didn't know that was a game.
Yeah, well, you didn't live. You didn't live when you were younger. I found the version. This one's in South Africa. It's called Pinky Pinky. While American kids played Bloody Mary, South African girls actually went into the bathroom alone, and Pinky Pinky, a demon with shockingly pink hair, who would target women just trying to use the bathroom. According to the South African, Pinky Pinky particularly does not like girls who wear pink underwear and has been known to attack or murder them.
I feel like this is
Let
very
that sink in.
targeted. This is very targeted ghost.
Right. Very specific. Yeah. This one, I'll let you decide. This one.
Oh, boy.
It's called Water Babies. According to Native American lore, which when you start off when it says Native American lore,
I believe all
for
of it.
some reason that just becomes more believable to me.
Yeah.
It can be found at Massacre Rocks State Park. Now, when we're combining those things, it's Massacre Rock State Parks in Idaho and in Utah Lake. Though the origin story is distinctly, it's more upsetting. The Idaho water babies are to believe the ghosts of young children that the starving people of the Shoshone tribe drowned in the river, choosing this death over one of the starvation. It's said that if you sit at the rocks, you can still hear their cries. While some stories claim that the babies simply drowned, others say that they adapted, grew skills, even sworn revenge on the living. In Utah, water babies are believed to be another type of creature altogether. According to Weird US, these water babies were a type of dwarf that lived in the lake and mimicked the sounds of babies crying to drown unsuspected people. Yeesh. Different water baby legends can be found in Nevada, California. The commonality between them all seems to be luring the people in the lake to drown them.
I mean, what was the Native American you said? It was
like Shoshone,
yeah.
Shoshone.
That's exactly Sacagawea was that trips me out. Yeah, she was Shoshone woman.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of wild.
Wow, that is wild connection. Okay.
Yeah, this one I found in onlyinyourstate.com. This we're going to take this back to Oregon here.
Yeah.
These last couple. This is in a little town called Lafayette, Oregon. In the 1880s, it was a small, peaceful town, right? But like all small, peaceful towns, it gets rattled by vicious slaying of murder.
Oh, boy.
This one is a murder of a local carpenter and a shopkeeper. The culprit was Richard Marple. He was convicted and sentenced to hang. But at Marple's execution, his mother, Anna, was suspected, supposedly was a witch or a gypsy.
Yes, okay.
She was heard proclaiming curses on Lafayette. She was not happy with it. She was cursing the citizens, cursing Lafayette, including threats to burn the town to the ground. So, of course,
As you do. Yeah.
what happens afterwards? Lafayette actually burned to the ground multiple times.
Whoa.
In 1904, it actually wiped out the entire business district. As if incinerating wasn't enough, Anna Marple actually still haunts the town of Lafayette Cemetery. I guess she laughs and moans. she's taunting these people. She won't let it go. Anna, it's okay. You can let it. You can let it go, Anna.
I'm never going to cross a witch. You know, if someone suspects me of a witch, she's going to be extra nice to
Would you go visit that?
I would visit, but I'm weird like that.
Would you would go visit that cemetery?
I would.
Would you call out like, "Hey, Anna, I'm here"? Like,
I
would
don't
you
know
like
if I'd
egg
go
her on?
that far? I wouldn't egg her on. I'd be respectful.
Yeah.
Maybe she wants. Maybe she's thirsty. I'll take her some water. I'll take like an
Maybe she's
orange. I don't know. I'm gonna bring a gift. This poor woman's
Yeah.
been through enough.
Yeah. The last one I have is the Flavel House. Flavel. Flavel House. It's a mansion turned into a museum. It's in Astoria.
Oh, okay.
It's said to be haunted by the ghosts of the family that once lived there. The Flavels have made their phantom presence known by speaking amongst themselves and practicing music in empty rooms, which I just love. Because if you're going to be there for eternity, you might as well pick a hobby.
You gotta pick. Just get better and better with music.
Right. You might as well
Playing
just pick the
random.
piano, the violin, the clarinet, whatever. A woman's ghost has been sighted in the hallway. Mr. Flavel has been seen in his bedroom before vanishing.
Wow.
It sounds like pretty friendly ghosts.
Right? They're just
They're just trying to make best of the afterlife.
Yeah, I get it. It's a nice house, right?
That's all I got.
Elle, I have to go back to my bad book corner.
You're back.
And it takes a lot, okay? And you can see I have stacks of books over here I read for this one and that kind of stuff. And I'm going to call this one here. I'm even going to give the title this time, but I'm not going to say who it's by, okay? I'll protect somebody here. The name of the book is called Oregon Folklore.
Which there's probably more than one book by the name Oregon Folklore.
That's
So
why
I feel like you're covered.
I feel safe
You're
here.
covered, yeah.
I will say that this one is over 50 years old.
Okay.
The first problem I have is when you folklore,
Yeah.
okay. And I asked you this before we started recording.
Yeah.
What do you think comes to mind? You say like Bigfoot or
Bigfoot.
like Oregon Coast. Like what else?
Right. Probably different treasures.
Right.
Treasure hunters.
Perfect sense.
I don't know. There's like there's like somebody named like the Bandage Man or something, which I think we talked about before.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Over on the coast.
So much good folklore, right? Maybe some Native American folklore, right? In Oregon.
Absolutely. Yeah.
This book covers none of it. Here's some of the chapter ideas.
They went a different direction.
They went a different direction.
I love that there's part 1 and part 2.
Yes. Some of the chapters, I kid you not, we have a chapter called Fiddling. And I'm going to show you the picture because what it is literally just a bunch of different people playing fiddles.
That's okay. That's
Okay.
Okay, but to be the devil's advocate
Yes.
though, I mean maybe the folklore, maybe
Yeah.
he's looking at like it's like like folk music,
Oh, yeah.
and maybe the lore of it, and maybe like folk music is like fiddling, and then I'm trying to help the guy out a little bit.
Here's the deal. The introduction is literally 12 pages of him trying to define his definition of folklore.
Okay, well that's a problem right
get
there.
to
I
the
mean, if he
point.
doesn't know what he's
He doesn't really
trying
know
to
what he's
hit
trying to get at.
yeah.
Some of the highlights in this book, we have a whole chapter on whittling. I'm going to show you this
Ooh.
page 2 here.
Whittling.
Yeah. So fiddling and whittling. This is a whittler here with this person and a neighbor. And I love that they add the and neighbor. They didn't get the name,
All right.
but it just says neighbor. A whole chapter on whittling.
I feel like he was just coming upon new hobbies,
That's
and
what
he
I
just
wanted
wanted to
do.
put it into a book.
There is a chapter. Now, the other thing too, once again, we could have gone Bigfoot. We could have gone Crater Lake. We're going to do different fence styles. All the different types of ways you can do fencing in Eastern Oregon.
That's helpful, though.
I'm not upset by it. It just I don't know if I'd put it in a folklore chapter.
Is this just over pictures of him over and over again?
No, I wish so. But I mean, here this is
He's smoking a cigarette and playing the
accordion.
The accordion.
Yep.
And why is he staring off like that?
That's the picture he wanted. This does cover a lot of music, songs that were Oregon
Folklore-ish?
Yeah. The Old Strawberry Rowan is one of the stories.
You want to sing
There's
a
more
little
pictures
bit
of
of it?
barns. Wait, it gets better.
You want to read a little excerpt of it?
Oh boy, yeah, I'm going to get to because we're going to read. Look at all the fiddlers. I mean, I just love. There's one of them from Roseburg, Oregon, was called out in here. That was the other cool part too.
Fiddle does not seem like an easy instrument to learn.
It just. Oh, there's a chapter just on talking.
No, I'm just bothered.
Now, here's the best part about the talking chapter. I'm like, what are you getting at? What are you getting at? So this chapter included things the grandma used to say.
It's like a hobby biography.
If I had known I could road, I would have went. Now, this one was my favorite. And
this is things grandma used to say?
This is grandma used to say.
Say that one again.
If I had known I could have rode, I would have went.
If I known I could have rode, I would have went.
Yep.
So if I know, okay, I have to think about that for a little bit. I feel like there's a lot of wisdom in that one, but I'm not really sure what it is.
These are all head scratchers. Here's my favorite one. This one I died. She's as independent as a hog on ice.
So
she's as independent as a hog on ice.
Is that like an insult to someone?
The best part is it says usually said of the family in general.
So you're saying that they're not independent. They're basically like dead, like a hog on ice, like you're just useless.
He's as dizzy as a bat.
Okay.
To ain't my affair, to ain't your affair.
Okay.
It's old Aunt Kathy's and we ain't needing care.
So mind your business, Aunt
Mind
Kathy.
your own business. Then we have some cooking of random stuff, which I love the ingredients is potatoes, butter, and salt. But they try to call it something else.
Potatoes. It's mashed potatoes.
Yeah. This thing goes on.
But it's not Oregon folklore.
It's hard. And then we're going to go back to the whittling because that's how we're going to end strong with the whittling. This was 116 pages.
Oh my gosh. Somebody actually published that.
I feel like it was a family history thing. They just thought, there's a lot of Oregon folklore in that. Someone misunderstood or something like that and then published it as accordingly.
Yeah.
Besides reading what I wrote you, that was really not much. It was people sitting on porches a lot, either whittling, talking, talks about how divining rods worked in the state of Oregon, as if different anywhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, it was not
disappointing.
There was this, my favorite part was anytime I thought I would talk about Native Americans, goes right over it. As if there was no one here in Oregon before the white settlers came.
Before the whittlers.
Before the whittlers and the fiddlers. There was nothing.
And grandma's words of wisdom.
Oregon folklore, not a read.
Not a read. 0 out of 10.
0 out of 10. Man.
Not recommended. Thanks for doing that.
You're welcome. That was, yeah. It's funny because my wife will watch me read these books. And as soon as I start getting out the sticky notes, I'm going to start making comments. She goes, oh, that's not a good one. Right. I said, nope.
And just imagine you're like on a desk somewhere, just like flipping through these pages with sticky notes.
Start speed reading it because I realized I'm
Nope. We're not going to cut it. Nope.
All right, sir. Well, let's do, we're almost done here. Do you want to do 2 questions?
Yes.
All right. I'll ask you first. What's your favorite summer pastime?
My favorite summer pastime, I like barbecuing.
Oh yeah.
Barbecuing is really 24 or all year round, but something about barbecuing when it's like 9:00 outside, the daylight and you just enjoy family and the gatherings, barbecuing. I like the whole atmosphere, a little cornhole. I like the family get-togethers of summertime and things like that. Nothing too extravagant,
Yeah,
just a simple good barbecue.
I'm going to 100% agree with you. I think you nailed it right on the head. You want the family. It doesn't need to be 1,000 people.
Right.
Just, a nice gathering. The weather's just right. Yeah, there's a little bit of bugs out.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you're right. The barbecue, the late barbecue, the good food. Because barbecue tastes better in the summer.
It does.
Think what it does,
Right.
You're absolutely right.
I think that's just the best part.
Yeah.
I call it barbecue season.
Yeah.
As soon as like May-ish hits.
Oh yeah.
You start buying, different types of things you just want to throw on the grill or Traeger or whatever. But
all right, do you have a dream? What would be your dream vacation?
I feel like this answer is evolved as I've evolved.
I love it. Yeah.
The younger me, not that I'm old, but when I want to do like a little European vacation, doing like, taking trains around Europe, maybe doing a little like backpacking and stuff. I still want to do it. I would love to go to Europe if I haven't been. I would love to do the sightseeing and the museums and the art and the culture. I would love to do the Europe stuff. But I think I'm gearing and leaning towards someplace warm, tropical beach that I could rent a bungalow without anyone bothering me.
Oh, I love it.
Even
Yeah.
I don't need internet. I just want to wake up at my own time, have my own pace, a little bit of food, a little bit of drink, and just experience just kind of separating myself and just being somewhere where it's just super peaceful and quiet, and the ocean's enough to swim in, warm enough to swim in, and I can
Okay.
just relax. I think
like
that would
it.
be true relaxing.
Yeah,
like
that would
vacation.
be.
I just
Yeah.
relax.
Oh man.
I mean, not that I
That's pretty good.
wouldn't love Europe, but you got tourists. I'll be a tourist, hustle and bustle,
Oh,
people,
yeah.
crowds, everything. Anyway,
No, I agree with that. I think
you sir.
I'd go cruise somewhere. The one I think I would enjoy the most. You go on. It's called a Christmas cruise, and it is in Europe. But you go on. It's one of the Viking cruise ships, and but they go to different Christmas villages
Oh gosh,
all through Europe.
yeah,
And I already have affinity for Christmas. I think that would be magical.
Yeah,
Like that would be old
cool.
European Christmas.
right.
On a nice, and the cruise ships are more private, so you're not having to
Right.
share it, with thousands of people. I think that would be
That
one
would
for
be
the
awesome.
books. Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Definitely, because I feel like the European cities during Christmas time,
Oh,
I feel like it would have a lot more magical feeling
Yeah.
to it.
And you just have the history. Like that's where a lot of Christmas stuff,
Right,
or
the
traditions
stories and stuff
and
like that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Wow, that was
oof.
that was a lot of an episode right there.
Man. Do you want to end on some jokes? What do you think?
Yes.
I don't have that many, but
That's okay.
I got some good ones
Yes.
here.
Fire away.
Where do pigs like to relax?
Something with sty. I don't know.
No, in hammocks. Remember when plastic surgery was taboo?
No.
Now, if you mention Botox, no one even raises an eyebrow.
I
I know. Did you hear about the race car that stopped at a red light?
No.
It's breaking news. This one, I'll tell you what, I've gone back and forth with this one. First, I did not like it, and then it grew on me, and then I threw it away, then I threw it out of the trash. It's one of those ones okay. What did the loaf say when it was finished baking?
What?
I'm Bready.
That's good. That's good.
It's too cute.
That's a keeper.
It's too cute.
I'm Brady.
I'm Bready. What do flies say when it's summer?
I don't know.
Swarm, isn't it?
Stupid.
Here we go. Two more. Sometimes I just can't stand bad jokes. Maybe I should try sitting on them.
What?
Very fitting.
Sometimes I can't. Oh God, stand back. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's bad.
Geez.
Now here's the one. Another good summer one here. What do you call a rock star with a sunburn?
I don't know.
Pink Floyd.
Wow,
That was good.
that's good.
That was a good one.
Pink Floyd. Oh,
Where can
man.
people find us?
Oh my gosh. First, if you want to get a hold of this show, go ahead and just email us at the Oregon Files Podcast at yahoo.com. You can find us anywhere where you get your podcast. Anywhere.
Anywhere.
Even on YouTube. Check us out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Mark puts it out there. I have an Instagram page. You can follow us or like us, however your Instagram is done. So just Oregon Files Podcast. I put the episodes there, and there's even a link on the Instagram page that takes you to all the directories that you can listen to the podcast. And again, Mark and I, we're 2 years into this, and it's just been so much fun to listen to other people telling us their journeys and listening to people's stories and talking to people in this community, even people that they didn't grow up here, but they've settled here and they live here. We are all somehow connected in this world, and it's been such an amazing 2 years for Mark and I, and then finding stories and characters that we've uncovered over the last 2 years has just been absolutely incredible. And we're 2 years into it, but I know we are going to continue and grow and find different ways to connect. Mark and I, preliminary talks is hopefully having like a website to have like merchandise and to get episodes out there as well too. But I'm sure that will come down the road and
We're
more
working on it.
information to come. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. And more interviews to come too. So we're not just blabbing on like I am now, but thank you guys so much for listening and continuing to support and all the comments and everything too.
Thank you guys.